organic, unpredictable, unknown, lovely, beautiful, a sense of fulfillment. This is part of the pleasures of life and not the chores of life.
Coming up on Daily Iowan TV, we'll tell you what Sally Mason had to say in our monthly Q&A session.
And we take a look at the UI's climbing arrest rates.
And in sports, find out what changes the basketball team has made this offseason.
All that's coming your way next. Daily Iowan TV starts now.
For the team's exhibition against
Thanks for tuning into Daily Iowan TV, your television news, sports, and weather source for the Daily Iowan. I'm Megan Grody.
And I'm Emily Bussey. Testimonies began Wednesday in the trial of a teenager accused with murder. 19-year-old Charles Thompson was charged with first-degree murder back in October of 2009. The victim, John Versipt, was a local landlord who was killed while inspecting one of his apartment buildings. The victim's wife, Janet, testified first, and his neighbor Rhonda Blewett, began her testimony after. The trial will continue Thursday morning with the conclusion of Blewett's testimony, and check out tomorrow's pages of the Daily Iowan to learn more.
An Iowa City man was charged Tuesday with public intoxication after he allegedly knocked on and peered through several apartment windows. Brett Ayers, 49, was reportedly wandering the neighborhood near the intersection of Iowa and Jefferson Streets, approaching numerous people and asking them to party. Ayers was arrested after callers reported him knocking on apartment windows and pressing his face against the glass. Officials say he appeared intoxicated with watery eyes and slurred speech. This is Ayers' third public intoxication charge.
On Wednesday, Daily Iowan TV sat down with UI President Sally Mason for a monthly Q&A session. On Tuesday, the State Board of Regents said it will request a 4% increase in appropriations, and Mason said such an increase is important if tuition rates for students are to remain at current levels.
5% of our appropriations having disappeared in 2.5 years. I think a 4% request from the Regents is modest, but would be extremely helpful.
And while her time at the UI has been marred by high-profile sexual assault cases, President Mason said the UI has been working on improving education efforts for the entire university community to ensure that similar situations don't happen again.
And I think these are good things. I think these are very helpful to students so that they, in particular, understand not only what their rights and responsibilities are, but how they can both protect themselves and help protect others.
For the full interview with President Mason, be sure to check out Thursday's edition of the Daily Iowan.
The University of Iowa is seeing its first Greek-wide community service effort. The Adopt a School program created by the Vice Presidents of Philanthropy and Community Service on the Infraternity and Panhellenic Councils will allow Greek students to volunteer at 4 elementary schools in Iowa City. The All Greek program will send volunteers to Grantwood, Kirkwood, Lucas, and Mark Twain elementary schools. They will organize lunch groups, games during recess, and homework and reading buddies. The program is still being finalized with an estimated launch date set for sometime in early October.
The UI will dedicate the newly renovated Carver Hawkeye Arena on Friday. The 4-story, 75,000 square foot addition will be officially dedicated at 4 p.m. with a reception and walking tours to follow. The renovations came from a $43 million project fund approved by the Board of Regents in 2006. The project includes premium seating, hospitality facilities, updated office and meeting spaces, a strength and conditioning center, 2 practice courts, and locker rooms.
Alcohol arrest rates are increasing. The university records show alcohol-related arrests have increased 14% from the first 6 months compared to last year. Earlier today, I had the chance to sit down with Kelly Bender, Program Coordinator for Student Services, anticipating arrests to go up after the 21 ordinance last January. Bender called it a painful process, but said while Iowa City residents are walking away with charges, fines, and illegal records, it is not possible to create these changes without enforcement.
It is not possible to create those changes without the enforcement. Because if you have a change in the law, nobody enforces it, the law is no good.
Bender says the increase in enforcement is important because it will lead to changes in behavior and attitude that could ultimately lower the number of charges such as PALAs, public intoxes, and house-related arrests.
It means that our law enforcement is really responding to this community policy change and say we support it and we want these changes also.
And still more to come from Daily Iowan TV. See how getting a flu shot from the UI could earn you more rewards.
And what an organization dedicated to diversity does to promote networking.
Plus, how the Hawkeye volleyball team plans to take down Penn State. All of this and more to come, but first let's take a look at our local weather forecast from Daily Iowan TV's Reed Chandler.
And Reed, will we be warming up the rest of the week?
Well, Megan, Thursday's forecast is looking like an average September day. In the morning, we'll see sunny skies with 51-degree temperatures, a rise to 65 in the afternoon, but with a few clouds overhead, and a drop down to 41 with continued cloudy skies in the evening. Taking a look at our extended forecast, the weekend looks bright with temperatures in the upper 60s and partly sunny skies on Friday and Saturday, more sun and warmth on Sunday with 71 degrees, and a pickup to mid-70-degree marks and sunny skies for the first half of next week. Definitely not a bad deal for the late September, but we won't have to handle those cold rains for a while. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Reed. The UI is now offering students another incentive to get their flu shots, besides just staying healthy. Every student receiving a flu shot from Student Health Services is automatically entered into a computer drawing for an iPad. Student health officials say the idea is to promote flu prevention, and their goal is to increase the number of students vaccinated by 5 to 10%. The drawing will take place at the end of each semester and will be funded by fees charged for no-show appointments. One iPad will be awarded per semester, and the UI has not purchased these prizes yet.
And the UI named its Roy J. Carver Chair in Neuroscience Wednesday. George Richardson, professor and head of neurology at the UI, was named the chair following a $2 million gift from the Carver Charitable Trust Fund. And the UI, along with Des Moines University, received a one-year, $1.5 million grant to support the Iowa Area Health Education Center program. The program aims to increase retention in Iowa's healthcare workforce through education seminars and workshops. The AHEC programs are federal initiatives launched by Congress in 1972 to aid in the education and employment of people in the healthcare field.
And the Pomerantz Center played host to an internship and job fair Wednesday afternoon. The fair was organized by the Center for Diversity and Enrichment, helping students of diverse backgrounds to network in a reception called Getting Together to Get Ahead.
This event has about 120 people at it tonight, which is made up of students from across campus from diverse backgrounds and also from employers that are going to be at the fair tomorrow.
The reception is an Advantage Iowa event sponsored by Student Disability Services. Overall, organizers say the event was very successful with a number of students making connections with potential employers. The Pomerantz Center holds these fairs once every semester. And after 2 years of imprisonment, American hikers Josh Fattel and Shane Bauer were released from Iran custody Wednesday. The two hikers were arrested along with Sarah Shord in July 2009 for allegedly straying over an unmarked border between Iraq and Iran. Last month, Fattel and Bauer were sentenced to 8 years in prison, but after pleas from American, Swiss, and Omani officials, a $1 million bail was set for permanent release. The release comes just a day before the Iranian president is set to speak in front of the UN in New York.
And now Daily Iowan TV's sports director Jake Abrams joins us at the desk. So I hear there's big news in the world of Hawkeye basketball.
Yeah, in the past week, some big announcements were made regarding some recruiting classes in the upcoming seasons. And while football may be on the brains of all Iowa sports fans right now, basketball is only less than 50 days away. And with a strong recruiting class this year, Hawkeye basketball is back in the national conversation. Daily Iowan TV Sports' Ian Martin shows us why Hawkeye basketball is headed in a positive direction.
In just 46 days, Fran McCaffrey and the Iowa Hawkeyes will take the floor at Carver Hawkeye Arena for the team's exhibition against Northwest Missouri State. In just half that time, 24 days, official practices began after an offseason notable for the departure of recruit Anthony Hubbard. But the core of the team remains relatively the same. especially after last season showed signs of success, with the old-time indications of memorable plays and gutsy efforts despite the losing record. The final loss of the year for Iowa was that of former senior Jared Cole, but McCaffrey and his staff seem to have no trouble finding replacements to generate the exciting brand of basketball that he sells. The Hawkeyes are already attempting to compete not just this season, but in the future.
Official practices for Iowa basketball begin on October 15th. And the Iowa soccer squad is off to their best start in program history. The Hawks only need 1.7 goals over the next 11 games to beat the school record. Daily Iowan TV's Lauren Moss caught up with the team to find out how special of a team this just is.
The women's soccer team is off to the program's history best start with a 7-0 winning streak. With the disappointing early end to their season last year, the women are working even harder this season to make sure that doesn't happen again.
I think we're different this year. I mean, I tell every team's always like, well, this is the year, but I really think that we have, the personnel on this team is all different, and I think that we all want to win and want to prove that we are better than what we showed last year.
10 seasons started off like this last year where we tied a real good Minnesota team at home, but I think things feel different.
There's been a contribution from everyone on the team, and their teamwork doesn't go unnoticed. Each woman is looking for a change this season, and their effort together seems to be promising for a great season.
We're more positive, and I would say our work ethic is 110% everything we do. I mean, from the bench, from the coaches, onto the field, everything we do, we give 110%, and so I think that's what the difference is.
Lauren Moss, Daily Iowan TV.
The ladies are trying to extend their win streak this weekend in Indiana while they play the Hoosiers and the Boilermakers. But soccer's not the only hot team right now. The volleyball team has won 7 straight games, but their record will be tested this weekend when they take on the always tough Nittany Lions of Penn State. Penn State has been the powerhouse of not only the Big Ten these past few years, but the entire nation. Although they have been crowned national champs the past 4 years, they already have 3 losses on the season, and the Hawks look to take advantage. Since 1999, the Nittany Lions are 213-27, and the closest that the Hawks have come to beating them was winning 1 set. The girls have started preparing for the match this week in practice by making slight changes in their defense and watching plenty of film. Sophomore libero Bethany Yeager explains to us what it takes for the Hawkeyes to win this game.
I think it would make a name for us. It would definitely put us out there. People would be looking for us and know that we're ready to play.
The matchup will take place on Saturday, but the team will start off the weekend on Friday, hosting another big game against Ohio State. Both games will begin at 7 p.m. at Carver Hawkeye Arena. And guys, it's always exciting when a team like Penn State comes to your home court.
Yes, it is, definitely. And only with Daily Iowan TV can you get a sneak peek at Thursday's pages of the Daily Iowan. Read about the Hawkeye Caucus's new pen pal program between students and legislatures. Plus, see how the area chiefs are promoting locally grown food in this week's 80 Hours.
And before we leave you, let's take a look at your local weather forecast. No need to fear rain. Thursday's forecast is showing mostly sunny skies with a high of 65 degrees. And for the rest of the weekend, you will see highs in the 60s, reaching up to 69 for your Hawkeye game day. At the beginning of next week, you will see warm temperatures again in the mid-70s.
And that's all we have time for this edition of Daily Iowan TV. You can tune in tomorrow at the same time or check us out online at dailyiowan.com. For Daily Iowan TV, I'm Megan Grody. Thanks for watching and have a great night.